Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. Hey, you know what that means? It's time for another story together. I hope you had a great weekend. I sure did. But I missed you, and it's time to read. Well, I have a great fiction book for you today, and we know that it's fiction because it's about a bear going to a library. And we know that animals don't go to real libraries, so it must be fiction. Now, this book is about a bear who has 7 books, and he thinks that 7 is all the books he's ever going to need, so he doesn't think he ever has to go to the library. But his friend, Mouse, is going to try to change his mind. So I want you to make a prediction, and if your prediction comes true, if you think Mouse can change his mind, we'll put that thumb up and we'll know, okay? All right, so I want you to enjoy this story called A Library Book for Bear, and it's written by Bonny Becker. A Library Book for Bear. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Bear had never been to the library. He had 7 very nice books at home. 3 about kings and queens, 3 about honeybees, and 1 about pickles. Bear was quite sure he had all the books he would ever need. Well, one day, Bear heard a tap, tap, tapping on his door. When he opened the door, there was Mouse, small and gray and bright-eyed. "We are off!" exclaimed Mouse with a happy wag of his whiskers. Bear frowned. He had agreed to go with Mouse to the library, but now he was quite sure it was a dreadful mistake. "Completely unnecessary," Bear announced. "I have all the books I need right here." "Oh, there are many delightful books in the library," Mouse assured him. "Humph!" Bear grumbled, but he had promised. So he buckled up his red roller skates, stepped outside, and grabbed a basket for the books. Imagine that, a bear on roller skates. Bear skated and Mouse rode in the basket to the library, the wind rippling nicely through their fur. But when they got to the library, Bear didn't like how big it looked. "There are far too many books in there," he protested. "Most excessive." "Oh no, it's quite exciting," Mouse said, leading Bear through the tall doors. Look at that tiny mouse pulling that great big bear through the doors. In the library were more books than Bear had ever thought there could be. He quickly found a tucked away corner. But even here, there were lots and lots of books. Terribly extravagant. Bear's voice was a little loud. "I shall find you the perfect one," Mouse said quietly in his library voice. "One about pickles," commanded Bear. After all, he only had one of those. But Mouse had whisked away. Mouse came back with a thick green book. Bear opened it. "Rocket ships! Ridiculous!" Bear's voice was getting louder. "A good book about pickles is all I require," said Bear. "Remember, Quiet in the library, murmured Mouse as he scurried off. He soon returned with a tall yellow book. I am not interested in wooden canoes. Bear's voice was even louder. Quiet voices in the library, Mouse reminded him. My voice is always quiet, Bear shouted. I will find my own book. I can assure you that pickles are quite interesting. Look at the bear yelling at the mouse. He's not being quiet. Mouse didn't look so sure, but Bear quickly spotted a blue book with a pickle on the spine. Remember what the spine is? This part right here. So he found a pickle on the spine, and Mouse sprang up on the shelf to get it for him. Can you see the book that has a pickle on the spine? Inside were pictures of pickles. The pickles had little fairy wings. They were dancing with petunias. No dancing pickles, Bear roared. Shh, said a voice. Bear peeked around a bookshelf. There sat a librarian with a cluster of youngsters gathered all around her. The librarian smiled, but a mother squirrel squished an angry finger against her lips. And an old raccoon said sternly, "Quiet in the library." Look at all those animal friends having a story time with the librarian. Bear turned back with a huffy sniff. I know when I'm not wanted, he told Mouse. I want to go home. Surely at least one book, Mouse began. But Bear cut him off. I have all the books I need. He looked quite certain. Then we are off, said Mouse, but his whiskers didn't wag this time. Mouse looks very sad. Bear stood stock still. He was listening carefully to a voice on the other side of the bookshelf. So the very brave bear began to inch his way toward the treasure chest, the voice was saying. I'm ready, began Mouse. Shh, exclaimed Bear. It's just getting to the good part. But you said... Do you think something has gotten Bear's attention? And Bear said to Mouse, Quiet voices in the library! Look at him yelling at Mouse. This time, the librarian got up and looked around the bookshelf at Bear. Bear stood very still and quiet, as if he had been still and quiet all along. She said, Would you like to join story time? Bear glanced at Mouse. We'd love to have you, said the librarian. Bear and Mouse scooted around the shelf, and they found 2 empty chairs. The librarian began to read again. The bear lifted the lid to the treasure chest, and inside, the librarian paused, and Bear and Mouse waited and leaned forward to hear what she would say. Look at them, they can't wait to see what she says next. lifted the treasure chest, and inside was a mound of pickle slices, and each shining slice was made of diamonds and gold, and everyone shouted, "Hooray for the very brave bear!" And then she said, "The end." Bear stared dreamily into space for a moment. Then he looked over at Mouse and announced, "As I said, pickles are most interesting." "Indeed," said Mouse. Later, Mouse rode in the basket with 7 new books. There were 2 about wooden canoes, 2 about rocket ships, 2 about teapots, and 1 called The Very Brave Bear and the Treasure of Pickle Island, which Bear read to Mouse that very same day. And that is the end of A Library Book for Bear. I hope you enjoyed it, friends. I'll see you again soon. Bye.